hats off to Arizona. It's a really good basketball team, especially on the offensive end. Caleb Love was fabulous tonight. There's a reason he's a preseason first team All-American. He's a fifth-year senior, and he showed every bit of it tonight. That's a team that has a chance to win this league and advance and win a national title. Unfortunately, we weren't good enough defensively to take advantage of our opportunities tonight, but hats off to those guys.
Questions for players and box scores here if anyone needs it.
To either player, was there anything in particular that you guys felt was missing on the defensive end? Whoever wants to answer that.
I think a lot of communication. There are a couple of blown coverages, a couple of assignments where we just kind of messed up. We closed hard on the driver, maybe not closed hard enough on the shooter, little stuff like that. So I think it was just a couple of technical things that we got to get better at. But overall, as a team, we got to be more physical, more aggressive. Just we got to want to guard. What I'm saying, that's some coaches emphasize to us, is just wanting to guard.
For the players, what was the biggest difference y'all felt out on the court from the first half, especially earlier on, to sort of the first half or the beginning of the second half, I guess?
We were getting stops in the first half. What I'm saying? We were getting stops, and we were able to push it and get easy baskets in transition. And but when you allow good players like Caleb Love to walk into a transition three, and that kind of just gets them going, gets the team going. And now it's really hard, and it's tougher to get stops. You just kind of gotta buckle down early, and I kind of take some of the blame for that.
Did that segment with when Love hit the back-to-back threes feel like kind of the first big momentum swing that they had really had, because you guys had really kind of been back and forth to that point?
Yeah, coming out the half, they scored 2 early buckets. That what I think was the momentum play, and it shifted the game because we didn't do our job coming out in the half, and things like that in the Big 12 is just not going to go down. And the team that we was playing is very good, so we can't do that.
For either of you guys, offensively, you had to play in the half court a lot, but it was maybe one of your guys' best offensive nights today. Just kind of what was working for you guys on the offensive end?
I think we were just executing our sets. I think the coaches had a good game plan of how they were going to guard us, and we knew they were going to be doing a lot of switching. So we just kind of used the information they gave us and went out and executed. And I think we just made some shots. We found each other. We shared the ball a good amount, and we were just playing off of each other.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right, we'll continue with Coach Lutz.
Coach, so Brandon had 12 points and actually led the team in offensive rebounds with three offensive rebounds. How have you seen him, evolve throughout the course of the season?
Brandon's been fine in spurts. I thought in the first half he did well offensively and on the boards, made a couple shots. He didn't get any offensive rebounds in the second half. I'm going to tell you the same thing about Brandon that I'm going to tell you about every single player. When they have the wherewithal to want to defend and it means something to them, we're pretty good. First 15 minutes of the game, I thought we defended at a pretty high level. But then to finish the first half, I think they scored on 8 of 11 possessions, something like that, something crazy. And then we give that one up right before halftime where we don't rotate. We rotate once, but we don't rotate twice with a sense of urgency. You just can't win in this league, if you're gonna play that way. And that's not to say that we can't, because you showed it for 15 minutes. If you can do it for 15 minutes, you can do it for 40 minutes. It's a matter of want and will.
That kind of aligns with what Bryce said when I asked him maybe what was missing. Was that kind of the missing ingredient on defense?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm not one to ever throw players under the bus. We've got to be better. We've got to be better defensively. At the end of the day, if you score 78 points in the Big 12, you've got a chance. You should have a chance to win every single game. But you can't give up 92, especially on your home court. Right? You gave up 56% from the floor. You gave up I think they scored if I'm not mistaken, they scored 5 of their first 6 possessions or 6 of their 7 possessions in the second half. And if you were to add it up in the entire second half, they scored 20 of 31 possessions. What's the difference? We didn't change anything schematically, really. You know, we might have backed them up a little bit, but it wasn't like we changed. You know, so you've got to find it deep inside yourself to fight for 40 minutes if you want to win. And if you don't, then we'll continue to have the same results. But I'm not going to allow for it. I can promise you that.
Offensively, how did you feel that the guys did today?
We're fine. We scored 78 points. You know what I mean? Like, we scored 78 points. That you know, they were holding people in league play, I want to say, to 0.96 per possession. I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty solid, other than we turned the ball over. Every time that we did not turn the ball over and we executed what we wanted to, we got the shot that we wanted. You know, but we had 12 turnovers, which is too many. You know, those 3 in the first half, when Arturo went to the bench and Keller had to play extended minutes at the point guard. I thought those really hurt us, and that allowed them to get a couple easy ones in transition. But at the end of the day, I think offensively we played well enough to win. We didn't play good enough defense for 40 minutes.
Did you have any update on Connor?
I do not, sorry.
And then Khalil, I think I heard bang knees with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He's got a bruised knee, as far as I know. You know, he didn't feel like he could play tonight at the end of the day.
You mentioned Arturo having to go to the bench there with the fouls. How much of a spark does he provide on the defensive end? And did
Yeah,
he play in it all?
he's great, man. I mean, he's one of the nation's steals leader. I love him, but you know, the first foul, it was stupid. Like, and I'm not dogging him, but why put your hands on a guy in the middle of his shot? You've got him into a 15-foot pull-up jump shot, contest him, but you know, he put his hand into him and he fouled the guy. And so, you know, my rule is I'm going to try not to play you with 2 fouls in the first half. That's just the way what I believe. And so it puts us at a disadvantage. With that being said, we played good enough defense for 15 minutes, 16 minutes, whatever that number is. I'll have to watch the film in the first half. But from that point on, our defense was not nearly good enough.
You talked about offensively being at least somewhat happy with how y'all did tonight, scoring. Thought this was one of y'all's better starts this season. I don't know, did you see anything different from the guys? You've had some slow starts at different points.
The only thing I would tell you we did different is I called more sets and I controlled the game. But again, you can call sets and control the game when you get defensive stops, right? And we did that in the first half. You know, we were able to get a couple things out of the double ball screens and the triple ball screens and get into our motion and get some movement. But then, you know, I'm not going to tell you we went away from that, but we didn't get enough stops on the other end to be able to have our feet under us on offense.
You said a few times this year you showed you could do it for 15 minutes. It's about getting it to 40. Is that frustrating that hasn't happened yet? Is it hopeful because you have shown that you can hang with a team like Arizona when you're playing?
You know, I've told you guys this before. You have to believe in humanity. You have to believe in people. You have to believe in people with good character. And these guys have good character. So I have to continue to believe that at some point it's going to mean enough to them that they're going to do it for 40 minutes instead of 15 or 18 or 28. You know what I mean? Because they've done a lot of really good things, but they haven't done it for 40 minutes yet. And so, but you know, I've got to believe in them, but I've also got to, make sure that myself as the coach, I've got to get them there somehow, some way. I've got to get them there. If I shorten the rotation or maybe even I play extended people on the bench, I don't know, but I've got to figure out something.
Do you think the guys have that same belief, or is that part of the issue now is getting them there from a confidence standpoint?
Again, what confidence didn't have anything to do with the defensive end. Usually you have issues on offensive end with confidence. Defensive end is about grit and toughness and fight and want. And, you know, we've got to have that for 40 minutes, you know. I've got to figure out a way to get it out of them.
Coach, Devontae Davis has seen less and less minutes these past 3 games, and he he was a former first team all defense player in the SEC. What do you need to see out of him for him to get on the court more?
Well, Devo played 9 minutes and he had 3 fouls. Right? I mean, I want to play Devo. I love Devo. We need more out of Devo. We need Devo, right? I mean, there is nobody that talks more to him and tries to get him on the floor. But if you're going to continue to foul, I can't play you, right? I mean, and he just seems to, whether the guy gets an angle on him and then he jams his body into him to try and get around him, or he fouls a shooter. I don't understand it. But we continue to watch film with him and help him and get him better. But guys, we want him to play well and we need him to play well. But I can't play you if you're going to continue to foul. I just can't keep you out on the floor. And it's been like that, each game, unfortunately.